Welcome to Guides, English Language and Literature. We'll explore Chapter 27 of To Kill a Mockingbird. This chapter sets the stage for the novel's climax, as Bob Ewell's threats escalate and tensions rise in Maycomb. Key events. In this chapter, Bob Ewell's vengeful nature becomes even more dangerous. After losing his job with the WPA, a government relief program during the Great Depression, he blames Atticus, refusing to take responsibility for his own failures. Meanwhile, Judge Taylor experiences an attempted break-in, strongly suggesting that Ewell is targeting those involved in the trial. This event increases the sense of tension and foreshadows violence. Bob Ewell also harasses Helen Robinson, following her and whispering threats. However, Link Diaz steps in, defending Helen and warning Ewell to leave her alone. This moment reinforces the theme of community and protection. Aunt Alexandra's intuition about looming danger adds another layer of suspense, suggesting that Ewell is not finished with his threats. The chapter ends with the town preparing for a Halloween pageant, a seemingly lighthearted event that contrasts with the underlying tension. Scout's hem costume, though humorous now, will later play a significant role in protecting her. Jem takes Scout to the event as Atticus and Aunt Alexandra stay home. Themes. The theme of vengeance and resentment is clear in Ewell's continued harassment of those involved in Tom Robinson's case. His desperation to assert dominance only increases his dangerous behavior. Community and protection are highlighted through Link Diaz's intervention. His willingness to stand up for Helen Robinson shows that some members of Maycomb refuse to be bystanders to injustice. The chapter is filled with foreshadowing and suspense. From Judge Taylor's break-in to Aunt Alexandra's sense of unease, everything points toward a major confrontation ahead. Finally, the contrast between childhood innocence and real-world danger is evident in Scout's excitement for the Halloween pageant. She is still a child, unaware of the immediate threat posed by Bob Ewell, making the upcoming events even more dramatic. Symbols and motifs. Scout's ham costume symbolizes innocence, adding irony to the chapter. While it may seem comedic now, it will later act as protection against Bob Ewell's attack, highlighting the unpredictability of good versus evil. Helen Robinson's harassment represents the ongoing struggles of the Black community after the trial. Despite Tom Robinson's unjust conviction and death, his family is still subjected to discrimination and threats. Bob Ewell's job loss reinforces his bitterness. Instead of accepting responsibility, he directs his rage toward others, making him even more dangerous. Character and plot development. Bob Ewell's behavior escalates, showing that he is not merely a cowardly troublemaker, but a real threat to those he sees as enemies. His obsession with revenge sets up the novel's climax. Aunt Alexandra's sense of impending doom foreshadows something terrible approaching. While she cannot explain it, her intuition is correct, building suspense for what's to come. Jem continues to take on the role of Scout's protector, which will be especially significant later in the novel. His protective nature contrasts with the danger they will soon face. Lee's use of suspense is masterful. Each small incident, from the break-in to Helen's harassment, adds layers of tension, making the reader anticipate something far worse. Background and context. The Works Progress Administration, WPA, was a New Deal program created during the Great Depression to provide jobs for millions of unemployed Americans. It aimed to rebuild infrastructure and provide economic relief. Bob Ewell's inability to keep a WPA job highlights his incompetence, while others in dire situations found stability through this program. Ewell loses his position due to his own shortcomings, yet he blames Atticus instead of taking responsibility. In the Jim Crow South, post-trial retaliation was a harsh reality. White men who felt humiliated in court often sought revenge against Black families and those who supported them. Ewell's continued harassment of Helen Robinson reflects this pattern, as he refuses to accept defeat and lashes out in anger. The threat of lynching and Ku Klux Klan activity was a constant danger for Black communities during this time. Helen Robinson's experience of being harassed and intimidated mirrors the real-life fear faced by many Black families. who were often targeted simply for existing in a system designed to oppress them. Finally, economic hardship often fueled racial resentment. Many white men, struggling with poverty, found it easier to blame black individuals for their misfortunes rather than confronting their own failures. Bob Ewell embodies this mindset. His inability to provide for himself leads him to scapegoat Atticus and others rather than acknowledging his own flaws. This historical context adds deeper meaning to Ewell's actions, showing that his personal failings are part of a much larger pattern of racial and economic tensions in the South. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.